welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: 1 plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. 2 is moderately, 3 is very, and 4 is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, 4 plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or Raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second, if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes, and you can. Hello, and welcome to Blackfeather Guild. Before we go in and say hi to the cast and get started with the show, I wanted to talk very briefly about viewer actions and a little bit about sponsors. So first off, there's a number of ways that you can actually actively participate in the show through viewer actions. One of the easiest ways to do so is through retweeting the game tweet. You should see that somewhere in chat if it's not in there already. But you just click on that link and hit retweet, and for every 5 retweets that we get on that, it will add a bonus to the cast pool and the game master pool. Now, in most cases, that's going to be an extra d6 that they can add on to any roll. Basically, a great way to use that is if a player is almost meeting a DC, but they're just not quite there, they can grab one of those d6s from the cast pool, roll that, and then add that to their roll. Basically, is how that works. Same with the GM. So that's one of the easiest ways that you can participate that way. Another way is through guild coins. That's our Twitch channel points. If you look at the rainbow colored icon, it should have the Blackfeather Guild crest on it. It should be right below your Twitch chat box. If you click on that, it'll show you all the different things that you can get with those. The biggest one being plot points. Now, plot points, you can see an example right over here. They all work pretty much the same way. It's just a matter of how big of an impact they have. So for the example, when we've got 2 plot points, the player of your choice gets something moderately helpful or unhelpful. Enter any suggestions for the GM into chat, or you can have the GM come up with something entirely on their own. So just choose if you want it to be helpful or unhelpful to the party, and that's kind of how you can use them. You can throw in your own suggestions as well. How those work: one plot point is something trivially helpful or unhelpful. Two is moderately. Three is very, and four is very to the entire party. So if you want to do something to help the entire party or really throw a monkey wrench in their plans, um, four plot points will do that. So that's guild coins. And then finally, we've got donations. So if you want to help out with keeping the lights on in the place, so to speak, there's a number of ways that you can financially contribute. One of those being coffee.com/Raven or Raven.rocks. You can see both of those examples down there at the bottom. Those are the addresses to do direct donations. You can also do Twitch subscriptions or bits. Those work the same way. And then finally, Patreon. We've got a Patreon, which you should see in chat here any second if it's not there already. And our Bard tier patrons and higher get credits towards viewer actions every month that they can use on any show that they would like. You just have to let us know in chat how you want to spend those, and then we'll hand those out. So, some very cool stuff. Before we hop over to see the cast, one last thing to mention is a couple things on this chart here. We've already covered the D6 and the plot points, but the triple crits, what that means is you can gift auto critical successes. And you can, it's triple because you get three. You can divvy those out however you'd like. You can do two to the cast, one to the game master, all of them to the game master, however you want to do it. So they work much like the D6s. The cast members just grab that when they're available and they really need them and use them. So it's pretty cool. And then finally, the last one, introduce an ally or enemy NPC. Just give us a brief description of what you want this character to look like, kind of their character concept and a name, and let us know if you want it to be an enemy or an ally to the party, and the GM will basically take that and run with it. So really cool ways that you can participate. Lastly, I just want to take a quick moment to mention our sponsors. If you look at the logos down below, that's who's sponsoring this episode, and we'll talk a little bit about that before we introduce everybody as well on the next scene. So yeah, check all this stuff out and thank them for supporting us, and thank you for being here and watching. Let's go say hi to the cast. Hello, welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Neon Devils, our session one, but episode two, which I know is confusing. Um, but yeah, I'm going to toss some information into chat here in a second about sponsors and Patreon. Um, and we're going to do our introductions. I'll pass it off to Yaz for said introductions.
Hello and welcome to Neon Devils, a um, uh, pre-cyberpunk urban fantasy following our splendiferous special forces unit in Deus Los Angeles Police Department, which is a mouthful, and you'll never hear me say it all together again. Um, I would like to start with Ekinorlax. Can you introduce yourself and your character?
Yes, of course. Hello, I'm Ekinorlax. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch under this name when I do stuff there, I suppose. Today
Yay!
I'm playing Tabitha Arkart. She's considering changing her name to Sergeant. And, well, the force is all her life and the department. She is physically intimidating orc with great axe, but her true weapon of choice is paperwork.
Excellent. And then next, can I have Nate? Will you introduce yourself and your character?
Hello, my name is Nate. I'm not really active online anywhere else but here, but I'm playing character Marco Verota, a werewolf kind of protector working on the side of good. I'm looking forward to to what we have in store today. Short, sweet. That's all I got.
And I don't actually know how to say the username you've got on here, Parland. LTALIG. Do I sound that out?
It's just my Twitter hat.
All right. Well, no worries. Would you mind
Marketing.
introducing yourself and your character?
Hi there. I am Par, mostly referred to as Par or full thing, Arlanders 4E. I am playing James Cook using the Crooked playbook from Monster of the Week, and so far, kind of just a guy with a gun, really, and a stone.
Awesome.
Hey,
And
real
There
quick,
you go.
thanks so much, Michael, for that $5 donation for 2 plot points. And yes, the suggestion is that Tabitha finds a Raven crest, like the Blackfeather Guild crest coin, that for a flip of the coin can give them advantage on a roll or disadvantage on a roll. Is the
I will
suggestion for those
approve of
plot points.
this. Let me write that down in my notes. And then next, could I have Paladin Hulk? Would you mind introducing yourself and your character?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Paladin Hulk, Twitch moderator for Random Tuesday, Little Red Dot, and the Starwood Initiative. And today, I'm playing Daniel Vanderveer, detective for the LAPD, and having a bit of a tough time of it. It's late. So let's see what the cards have in store for me today.
Perfect. And finally, Raven, would you mind introducing yourself and your character? Is that everybody?
Yeah.
Did I miss somebody? I feel like
Is
I always say
everybody?
finally, and I've lost something in between.
I think we got everybody.
Okay, sorry.
I'm Raven. Obviously, I do tabletop streaming, but I do just about everything else involved with it as well, from game design to professional GMing, streaming, art. This is my art behind me. This is my character behind me here. And I also do voice acting and a whole bunch of other stuff. You can find out all about that on my Twitter, which is right there. And then, yeah, I play Kat Continu, who, as I said, I'll lean over here so you can see what she looks like. She's a sort of a John Constantine type character. She's been in LA for several years, so originally from London, but because I can't hold a British accent, she's got a very watered down British accent, so it only comes out every so often. But yeah, she's very much into magic and doing weird things with it to help solve crimes. So that's Kat. And she hates paperwork.
Awesome. And I forgot to mention I'm a graphic illustrator and artist in my day-to-day life. And let's get ready with a recap. So during session 0, our team received a handful of calls that essentially split them into 2 forces. Force 1 went to go and investigate a magic mixed household and what they thought was going to be a domestic abuse situation, wherein they did not find anybody except for something that Marco cannot describe that chilled him to the bones, and an eviscerated mass of entrails and body tissue. The other team got to field a Holdra gang member, one of the higher ups that had submitted herself to the precinct for questioning and safe holding. She appeared as being covered in mushrooms, and James Cook was the one that interrogated her, and they got some information, but what kind of feels like not quite enough information. Um, and there was a bit of a scare with the mushrooms, but everything seems fine so far. But she has been quarantined and left alone, and the Spooks team has reconvened in their office to discuss what it is that they came across, and that is where we're going to start today.
Fantastic. Kat and Marco are back now, right?
Yes. That is correct.
So, what happened here?
Nothing
I've-
compared to what you guys went through.
But as I told you on the phone, I have a job for you. There's, well, you have a file on her. I'm pretty sure memorized now. In the interrogation room, infested by mushrooms. I think
That's
you might.
odd.
I think only magic can help here. So that's kind of your department, right?
I mean, if it's happening inside the like an interrogation room, I think that's part of like the janitorial staff's job. But I suppose I could take care of it if you wanted to take care of the paperwork for today.
Mumble bumble under her nose.
And Kat's just giving Tabitha like the cockiest little smirk.
Tabitha longingly stares at her axe and mumbles and waves you away.
That's funny. Oh my goodness, I do not know what's going on with Web Captioner, but it's
having a day.
It's worse than usual.
Or better than usual, depends how you want to look at it.
Yeah. Oh, it's freaking out. That's weird. Okay.
Yeah, none of us are saying that, so I don't know who it's picking up, but
yeah, it's having a day. Is the Holdra still in the room?
She is in a questioning room upstairs.
Okay.
So she is not near you or within visibility of you.
yeah, we'll have tossed in the bare essentials like a mattress and some coffee.
Which she, of
Power
course, is
bar.
appreciative of it. Maybe a little like snubs her nose, like she's thankful, but it's definitely not her class or taste.
All right. I would like to investigate a mystery to see if I know anything about these mushrooms or how to magically get rid of them, or if they'd be useful to me to collect.
Gross. Okay. So just as an assumption, you go upstairs to the interrogation room where you can observe her. Is that correct? Not into her room, but into the two-sided mirror, or do you go in with her to see that?
Okay, I might have been confused. So,
Sorry.
the room with all the mushrooms in it, is she currently in that room?
She is covered in mushrooms. The room is basically fine.
Yes.
Oh, I thought they like started growing all over the walls.
That's what we're assuming is going to happen when you get up there, but not yet.
Okay. Gotcha.
We are just considering this possibility.
I am slow on the draw today.
You are A-okay.
The glass. She'll go to the glass and observe.
So the table where suspects usually sit at has been moved to the side of the room. A cot has been provided for her. On the table are a small assortment of hygienic things, coffee, maybe like a donut that has been nibbled on and forgotten about. And the woman is kind of, she's just sort of sitting on or laying on the bed with her back to the mirror. You can clearly see not just the mushrooms, but the most definitive trait that the Holdra have, which is they don't have a solid back like humans do. And for the most part, they look like the beautiful elves from our stories, but their back has been carved open, and inside of it, you would usually see the spine made out of a sprig of a tree and fauna and flora kind of growing and presiding in that area. But instead of seeing that specifically, you see an excess of various different kinds of mushrooms that have just grown across her shoulders and down her back towards her hips. The rest of her body is covered in a tattered, dirty dress, but you can assume that there are mushrooms everywhere. And what
Okay.
is your role for?
Let me go ahead and make that.
Hey,
Okay. Nope.
it looks like ordinary mushrooms. You don't know anything specifically that could alter or change it, but it doesn't look like they're harming her. And that's about it. That's all you get.
Okay. I think Cat will turn to whoever's closest and be like, "What are y'all worked up about?" It's like, I mean, I wouldn't eat them, but they look like regular mushrooms, like at the grocery store.
Okay, I
It is
assume
very damp where she lives.
it was me who led her to the room. Well, maybe the mushrooms are regular, but the fact they are growing out of her body is very irregular, right?
I mean, that is unusual, but I guess maybe she's from a humid part of town. That
Well, she
could be a new trend.
Um, she is. She doesn't. Well, she knows better if the mushrooms are part of her body or not, right?
I mean, I would
And
assume
if she
so.
and she said they grew on her and she needs help.
That sounds like a dermatologist, maybe. Might be in order if those aren't there on purpose. I
Are you
mean, I do
being
know a pretty
useless on?
decent skincare spell I could try.
Are you being useless on purpose?
Hey,
Uh,
hey,
you calling in a magic specialist about some, shiitakes on a shoulder here. I don't feel like I'm the useless one in this case.
They are magic like hell.
I just want to cut into this conversation that's going on, but I'd like to point out that she apparently doesn't need help with the mushrooms. They're actually holding her together or something like that.
Huh? Okay. I might misunderstood. Well, clearly that's not my specialty.
So,
Also, you
given
two
all of
shouldn't be shouting throughout the station.
It's okay.
It's,
Tabitha shouts all the time.
it's pretty.
They've already heard she is useless.
It's pretty rude, Sergeant.
Could I take another look given everyone's protests?
Yes, you may take another look.
I agreed with you.
All right. I mean, I'll take another look. Hold on. Since you insist, Tabitha.
I do.
So 9.
That's much better. I believe that gives you one question. For investigate a mystery. I had my book right here. You can ask whatever question delights your fancy, though. I don't want to keep it specific.
let's see. I'm looking at the default questions. Um, and yeah, I think I'm going to branch off of the what sort of creature is it and say, um, what sort of mushroom is this? What is it like? Does Cat know? Um, or is
At the
she familiar with
distance,
what it is?
you do not notice anything particularly unsettling about the mushrooms. Do you go into the room to actually assess her?
Um, I mean, I was thinking about it, and then you asked specifically if I was going into the room, and now I'm not sure.
I I
um,
have two answers for you, and one is if you stay here, and one is if you go into the room.
dilemma. Uh, I yeah, she'll go in, but she'll like um wrap a bandana around her mouth, or something like that. Whatever she has that can cover her nose and mouth. Um, she'll go in with that because if I remember right, there was mention of spores in the air.
Mm, not
Or
entirely. It was
or
more that
was
the action that alarmed everybody else in their first interaction with her was that she kind of deflated or wilted with a heavy rattling breath. But there were no visible spores that were released.
oh, okay. Maybe that was
When the
just
GM uses word visible, there's some assumptions made on the player's side.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, she's still gonna cover her mouth like with a bandana or something.
Okay.
And then go in and inspect. Not gonna say anything to them. Just walk up and just lean over, not touching anything. Just like staring very closely at the mushrooms.
The moment you enter the room, the woman sits up and turns her back to the wall so that you are no longer, her back is no longer visible to you. She takes a breath and she kind of looks at you and she looks at the mirror where she assumes that everybody else is standing and she lets you do your job. And what you notice is that, yes, these appear to be your garden variety amount of mushrooms. But from what you know, the Huldra do not grow flora on their skin. It is only grown within their back cavity. So this is highly, highly unusual. You also get an impression of magic, like a thick coating of magic over her body, and you don't feel alone with her.
Hmm. Could I do a sort of like a detect magic type spell to see what else
Yeah,
might be
roll weird
watching?
for me.
7. Another mixed
So
success.
you get a mixed success means that I gotta fuck it up, right?
Yep. Side effect.
Um,
Which I think
you
you actually get to choose the side effect. Or not the side effect, the glitch. Um, if I remember right, because I think there's a specific move that lets me do it, but I don't have that move.
there's in the playbook, it kind of goes both ways. In some occasions, the player decides what happens, and in some occasions, the keeper decides. In this occasion, I am going to show you a vision. So as you begin putting your feelers out to detect the magic on her, um, what you get is something akin to what you assume would be an acid trip in a matter of seconds. Your entire vision is replaced by wet, gooey eyes blinking, and all of the irises in these hundreds of eyes that you're now staring at zero in on you and pop, and you're standing back in the room.
That was weird. Haven't had one of those in a while. Who's watching you?
The woman kind of looks up at you and blinks, and she says, I am protected. And that is all you need to know. I cannot tell you more.
Huh. I guess I really can't tell you more about what's going on with you then.
She just looks back down at her hands, has nothing else to add.
A Huldra without a snarky comeback or talking just to hear themselves talk. This is rare indeed.
She looks back up at you with narrowed eyes, but she does, in fact, not say anything else.
And Kat just gives her like the sort of smarmy, cocky, lopsided smirk, which of course is mostly obscured because of the bandana, but like you can see it in her eyes before walking out of the room.
Her sarcasm is reflected in the crinkles of her eyes.
Yeah.
Oh. So where do you go from here?
I'm gonna leave the room and then tell everybody what I saw. So I just went on like an acid trip, and I haven't had that in. And then she kind of remembers that she's in a police office and as a police officer goes ever. But it was weird. This is what I saw, and so she's got some sort of magic protection that's preventing me from really seeing what's going on here. I don't know what I can do to help.
What did she ask for?
I mean, I just said, who's watching you? And she's like, I have protection, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Right, the protection thing. She was going on about that.
Yeah. So, if she's got protection, I'm not sure what she's doing here.
I think the protection is possibly just from death, sort of a hands off until you might be dying sort of thing.
Yeah. I think that the thing that attacked her ripped out her back tree thing. Like what are those called?
So the I've just call it the back cavity, but it's essentially the spinal column.
Right, but like I'm assuming that the actual spinal column is removed, yes, and then a tree is inserted in there.
Oh, they're born like that. Yay for fairies.
Okay. All right. So I think that the monster that attacked her removed her spine and she had it replaced with all this weird fungus crap to, stay alive. So we're looking for something that, collects spines.
Oh, speaking of Mr. Daniel Vanderveer,
Yes.
I need you to roll for your connecting the dots.
I will do so.
Yay! I'm sorry that we didn't start with that. I got
It's all good.
sidetracked.
It's all good. Oh, and it's of course a roll. Okay. Nope. That's not how that works. That's it. Nervous. Clicking all the wrong things because I'm dumb.
You're
There we
not
go.
dumb.
That's
It's just
it.
confusing. All right.
Oh,
Perfect.
Of experience today.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yep.
That's all I
The
want.
the dots stay unconnected.
Yes. Today is the day in which nothing makes sense. Um,
So, not sure what that might be, but sounds like you've got this. And I'll turn around and walk away.
Marco, have you impressed upon your peers how absolutely terrifying whatever it was that you saw was? And
I don't think specifically, but they might kind of notice that he's a little bit shaken. I mean, he probably spoke to Kat on the way back, just like something along the lines of how he absolutely doesn't know what the hell that was and how it moved so quickly.
okay. Daniel, as you're walking away, your phone buzzes.
I'll look to see who's calling.
It is a blocked number.
Right. Daniel Vanderveer.
On the other line, you can hear breathing that sounds like staggered sniffles or crying. Somebody in the background cursing in Spanish, and then the line hanging up.
Sweeties. I'll try to call back the house.
The house has no answer.
Damn it. I'll turn to, I think Marco's closest now.
Probably.
Marco, my daughter just called me and then hung up. I'm trying to call the house. No one's picking up. You think I should head over there? Call squad car to drop by? What do you think?
Yes. Do
I
get
hear it?
any?
No, you're still up there with Kat. We're in a
You
different
have
area of the building.
bad feelings about it? Is it something you gut feeling?
I don't know, man. Everything is just terrible. I don't want anything bad to happen to my little girl, you know?
At the very least, send a squad car to do a wellness check.
Yeah, that's probably good. And I'll go over to my desk and do that. I don't know how cops do it, but I'll push the buttons to make that happen.
The standard police send out a squad car to go and investigate. And you will be notified when they return. And yeah. What would you like to do, the rest of you, what would you like to do with the Holdra woman or with the information that you have?
Well, I think James is kind of still just standing on the other side of the glass, trying to recall where he met this woman previously.
Do you want to roll, just do a sharp roll for me?
Sure. I'll give it a shot.
Oh no.
Dude.
Oh
Wow.
boy. Oh boy, guys. Oh boy.
You know, you have absolutely no clue, but you feel like maybe you went on a date with her.
Actually, never mind.
Oh, goodness.
James walks out feeling a little differently now. As a quick aside, I should probably mention that James's interrogation of her was not the usual sort of thing you're used to seeing from him, as we've all worked together for a while. So he's usually more of a threats of violence, like skirting the line, sort of.
He's the loose cannon.
Might put the hands on him a bit, officer. And it's probably Daniel coming in be the more straight edge cop, sort of, hey, you're not allowed to do that. Come on, buddy. See what he's doing over there. So this is a abnormal amount of a sort of just try to have a conversation rather than his usual interrogation methods.
Perfect.
Well, I want some experience. I think Marco would go to a computer and try and search any kind of like database he can for what he saw, or see if there's any mentions anywhere of anything nasty, shrieking, and terrifying.
Roll investigate a mystery for me.
Come on, give me some experience. Damn.
Sorry, Ben. You get to ask or hold one of the following questions. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it doing? What is it going to do? What is being concealed here? But you may also alter any of these questions as you feel is necessary or pertinent.
I think I'm going to go for what sort of creature is it?
So in your findings, almost all cultures and folklore have mentions of some kind of boogeyman. And it's all manner of shapes and sizes. And as far as you go back in understanding it, the thing closest to this would be one of the first recorded creatures or magical creatures in history, and that is of something in the shadows that all boogeymen come from.
Okay. I assume we're still close-ish.
Yeah.
Daniel, this is what I saw and kind of has me...
Well, it's sort of what you saw.
Closest to what I can...
Nothing really fits in the parameters.
I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but what do you think about this? And I tilt the monitor towards him.
So tempted to say it's a computer screen. No. Yeah. So, said boogeyman.
I know that's about nothing to go on, but that manifestation of darkness was off-putting.
There's a lot of strange things in the city. Could be. God has unleashed a great many plagues. Let's see. And I'll also try to figure out if I can make any connections here. So let's investigate a mystery.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Do it.
Yep.
Success. Excellent.
You may ask one question. Would you like me to read those questions, or would you like to choose your own?
I'll always improvise. I don't like to be pushed in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner. I'm just gonna say, do we have anything at all on record of these things?
In the police database?
Yes, any prior case, where they're actually a person of interest or just mentioned.
There are 4 unresolved cases that share the same violent, brutal murder that Kat and Marco saw that are in the police database. There are 2 from this year and then 2 from 10 years prior.
Okay, but that's the murders, and I was looking for the thing, the boogeyman.
There is no thing.
No mentions, no case ever involving a boogeyman.
Nope.
All right. Sorry, Marco. No boogeyman.
I appreciate you trying.
Looks like this is the first. Better make detailed notes for the next guy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Would Kat know anything about like what normally happens when you remove the spine of a Holdra from their bodies, and like how weird is it to have a replacement put in?
I'm going to need you to roll for that because Holdra
Alright.
information is very exclusive. However, you may know it with your experiences with them.
Okay. 9.
So I'm going to answer the question that you asked. And the answer is they usually die, and it is the only time that they suffer mortal death. This is the only way to kill them. So technically, your suspect should be dead.
Okay. Upon thinking about this and reflecting, Kat will share that information with everyone and say, so, not everybody knows this, but much like with most other creatures, if you remove their spine, they usually die. So by all rights, she should be dead. Um, that might be what the mushroom part is about. I don't know, when, like, drawing some parallels here. In nature, when, say, a tree dies or falls over, mushrooms tend to grow on it, and it's part of the forest's sort of necrotic process. Speculating here, if she's had her spine ripped out and should be dead, but is somehow delaying that, those mushrooms could be a sign that it's not entirely effective. Just a theory.
So the things are pretty opposite. The mushrooms are not not what causing it, but solution to this problem for her, temporarily at
Yeah.
least.
My theory is that they're a side effect of the spine being missing, not necessarily the cause. Now that I think about it.
Tabitha, something in this jogs your memory. And do you remember that this woman's paperwork had the same medical star on it as several of the other refugees?
Where did I please remind me, where did I see those stars? On
In
the
the
commander's desk?
yes. So you had the paperwork for the other refugee criminals that were taken in because they had illegally come topside. And DLAPD was tracking them down and trying to bring them back to bottom side until they could get their essentially something like a visa, their permits to come back to topside. But several of the refugees that had gone through DLAPD had this star on it, just like she did in her paperwork, which you viewed earlier that morning in session 0, if that helps.
I've seen some of her file today in the morning in unrelated way. There might be others like her. I need to check if I can find some details where to find them on the computer, and maybe we can take a look at them to solve what happened. Okay, so I will go to the computer, try to remember some other names, if they are still in the police custody or something.
You come across 3 people. I'll give you their last names. three people that are still within the precinct and have not been released back or allowed to go into the city. And they are Truman, Cassidy, and Johnson.
Truman, Cassidy, and Johnson.
I'll
Okay,
put that in chat. So we have a record of that. Yay. There you go. That way we
Okay.
won't forget, because I will.
So if they're still on the precinct,
Yes. So they're in the precinct. They're not in any of the interrogation rooms. They have been given, the three of them are actually in a cell further back into the precinct.
so do you want to go and check on them with me? I'm asking whoever's in the interrogation room still. I guess not Daniel and Marco. So that would be James and Kat.
Sure.
You know, I
Come
think
with
I'll
you.
pass. I'm sure you two will have a lot of fun together.
Oh my god. Okay.
This isn't going to involve paperwork, is it?
Tabitha is wondering what is the proper answer for her to still have Kat's help. That's not far from truth. I don't know. Depends on what we find. Actually,
Alright.
I'm not sure if I want to find nothing or I want to find something. You know how it goes.
So on their way down, I'm gonna quickly hop to James. James, you have potentially 3 contacts that might be able to get you more information on what's going on below the surface. You are welcome to cash in on those at any time, in whatever way that you wish to do so. Just letting you know. Kat and Tabitha, you guys head to the back of the precinct, which smells like sterilizer and disinfectant and stone. The area is significantly colder than the rest of the precinct, and the cells are very full, except for the one at the end, where is just your 3 occupants.
I don't like that smell.
It burns the inside of your nose.
Yeah. Okay.
Cat's
maybe
just
there.
the cat's just following behind Tabitha.
So I take a peek into this. I don't know if it's just bars or solid doors with some kind of vizier.
They are bars.
Okay. So I start by taking a look.
And you don't even have to roll for this. It's fairly obvious. They are 3 men that are. They look fairly down on their luck. Frumpy, covered in tattoos, dirty, torn clothing, but they all share, other than their circumstances, a very noticeable trait. Several of them have the same fungal treatment that the Holdra did, but not to the same extent she does. Maybe it's just a little bit popping up through their hair or running down their neck, or lichen growths across the tops of their hands.
Lichen.
Perfect.
Huh. So you were right. The mushrooms seem a kind of treatment.
It does seem that way.
Hmm.
And these are these guys currently conscious, just sort of sitting there, or what are they doing?
Yep, they're sitting there, uh, hands in their laps, trying to be as quiet and as small as possible.
I think Kat's just gonna go like right up to the bars and just be like, "Oi, why
They
y'all got
scoop.
mushrooms on your back?"
They look up at you very concerned, and very uncomfortable to be pointed out as so. And one of them mumbles under his breath, you are unable to hear what he says. And the two others shoot him dark glances. And the one who most closely resembles the Cassidy photo on the paperwork looks up and clears his voice. He says, I don't see how our mushrooms have anything to do with our lack of permit in being here. Can you just put us back downside or under the surface?
I could look into speeding that process along if just cooperate with me on some information. It is pertinent to one of our cases, assisting one of your fellow Holdra.
Yeah, I chip in. Sergeant Urquhart, yes. Indeed, your answers can speed up this process.
So, upon mentioning the Holdra, the two of the men, their faces do not show any manner of affection or affinity towards the Holdra. And one of them spits on the floor, and the other man kind of just like the third one kind of shrinks away from the rest of you.
Are they not Holdra?
No, they are not. They
Oh,
seem
okay.
to be various races, which you are not sure of who is who or what is what. Just that they are not very
Oh, okay.
they're not very passing as another mortal, like the Holdra could be.
Okay, then yeah, I wouldn't say fellow Holdra then. It'd be more like help with a case, uh, assisting another such as yourself.
Okay, so not as violent of a reaction.
Okay.
But they do narrow their eyes. They get quiet, and one of the man who hasn't spoken or was the one that was muttering, the one that's kind of shrunk away from you, gets a swift kick to the shins. And the other two kind of look towards you, and one man scoots closer to the bars without getting up or showing that he's aggressive in any way. And he says, what are your questions then?
Well, I'm just wondering what the mushrooms are about. They're a bit unusual.
He kind of sits and thinks, and he says, it's a religious thing.
Huh. So it doesn't have
Well-
any. Go ahead.
So Tabitha chips in again. Where did you get them?
The man again makes the same expression like he's searching for an answer to give you. And he says, well, there's this church. I mean, we could show you.
Kat pulls up her phone with like a map of the city and says, "All right, what part is the city?"
Well, they won't let you in.
Okay, I didn't ask for an invitation. I said, "Where in the city?"
He gets a little squirrely at this point. He's like, he repeats himself. He's like, they're not going to let you in. They won't even let you near it. You're not one of us.
Don't worry about it. I just need to know where it is.
And you can guarantee if I show you on your map where it is, you can guarantee the three of us will be set free.
If you can show me where this is, give me an address, I can guarantee that the three of you will get out of here today.
The man, the one that's been kicking the shins of the quieter man, kind of pushes past, and you recognize this one as Johnson. Johnson almost spills over Cassidy to be like, I'll show you right where it is, and gives you this address. It's like 341 Broadway Street. It's going to be the second level. Okay, now let us go.
Okay. I appreciate it. I just have to double check this information.
You made an agreement. You have to let us go now.
I said you would get out of here today, not right this second.
She meant there will be some paperwork done, and as you may be aware, paperwork is not a magically instant process.
Cat just looks at Tabitha and goes, "It's not?"
The Johnson kind of like makes this face. He's like, you'd think that something as advanced as the police department would have digital paperwork already.
Yeah, it's still called paperwork. There
It's
are buttons pressed,
electronic
yeah.
paperwork.
Fine. You let us out by the end of the day.
Yep, I will get you out of here today.
Though you were very sneaky about that.
She just gives a cocky grin, like, what are you gonna do? Tell you what, probably been in here. Has anybody offered you anything to drink? I can go get you a coffee or something while you're waiting.
Johnson sits back down, no longer like trying to tower past and over Cassidy. He says, no, but thank you for your hospitality. And there's a bitterness in the way that he says that.
Okay. All right. If you're sure, nothing to eat or anything.
No.
All right. Well, I'll go work on the process of getting you all out of here.
But what Kat really means is she's going to watch as Tabitha does the process of getting them out of there.
So, Kat is plotting and possibly scheming. And what I'd like to do, even though they said they didn't want anything, I mean, nobody can really resist a plate of donuts if it's just sitting there in front of you, right? So what I'd like to do is maybe grab some of the fresher donuts from the break room, and put a spell on them that so whoever eats it, at least for the next, maybe 24 hours or so, they can be tracked.
Oh, cool. Okay. You will have to roll for it.
Yeah. Where is... Oh, use magic. Here we go. Woohoo.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
You are
I
very
like that
effective.
result.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll do that and make sure there's like an assortment. So like if they're weird about like chocolate, that there's not just chocolates. There's like fruit and maple and chocolate and maybe like just a plain one.
Throw the bacon. The downsiders like the bacon.
The meat eaters.
All right. Good
All right.
variety. And we'll do that spell and have them taken to the cell.
Okay.
And then Kat's gonna kind of fill everybody else in, or
So,
rather with
before
Tabitha.
before we join the rest, can I have a little talk?
Yeah. What's up?
So yeah, us letting them go. You're aware that how? Are you aware how it works, both for them and for us? maybe let me rephrase that question. Are you aware you shouldn't be throwing your promises like that?
Well, see, that's why I spelled the food so we can track them. We let them go, and then they lead us to where we're trying to get to.
Yeah, that spell is actually something I can work with, but you know, some promises can cost you a lot more than you would expect, right?
I have a passing familiarity with that concept, yes.
Yeah, okay, but good. You're aware. Okay.
But don't worry
Paperwork.
about it. We'll know exactly where they are. If there's problems or we need to question them, we can pick them right back up.
Contrary to the public opinion, I do not love paperwork. I just have to do it.
We'll see. Maybe there's not maybe we don't need to do paperwork for this. It could just be we let them go, they take us where we need to go.
No. Paperwork has to be done. Somebody put them here. Somebody needs to know they are out. Somebody actually, well, I missed few steps on the way, but trust me, there is paperwork.
All right. They're just here because they came up without a permit, right? Like they didn't
Well,
do any other
I
crime.
need to get in touch with whoever put them there to at least. It would be useful if he knew why they are there actually. So let's
Well,
start
what does
with
the
that.
paperwork say?
Yeah, that's why I said this paperwork need to be done. Reading is doing too.
Is there paperwork that we could readily look at to make sure that's the only reason that they're there?
Yes, you would have access to their files in the system. So you would be able to see who booked them, uh the reasons why that they were booked, and the possible transcripts of the conversation that they had.
Okay. Yeah, Cow, just make sure that they haven't like done any other crime other than just coming up without a permit.
You will need to get to the office to take a look at that.
Okay.
And
So,
letting them out will be actually easy. I just tag them as police informants. Whether they know it or not, they are informants now.
Okay.
Cat just looks at Tab and goes, "Oh, I was just gonna like make the wall passable and just kind of shove them out."
What?
Your idea is much better.
Your idea? Well, that's called a jailbreak. You don't do it. You are police.
Yeah, it's not a jailbreak if
Come
I
on.
do it. I'm a police officer. It's fine.
That's how policemen do jailbreaking, by paperwork.
That's
Not
fine.
by missing.
See, it's a great plan already. You tag them as informants since they didn't do anything other. Well, we're going to confirm, but if they didn't do anything other than just coming up without a permit, then we just
Then
put them
yeah,
back where they're supposed to be.
Your spell actually makes it easy. Yes, and I
then
mean
if
the
they
tracking one, not the wall disappearing. Just to be
right,
sure.
and see now that we can track them, if they do it again, then we can just pick them up for the same crime and put them right back where they are now. It's fine.
Okay. So reading time.
It all makes
What
sense.
did they do?
So you guys get back to the office. This is about the same time that the officer returns from their wellness check. And
They
actually
don't call?
No, the gentleman actually comes downstairs in person. And he says, Detective Vanderveer, I wanted to let you know we went and did the wellness check. It does not appear that the house that you had us check in on has been lived in for at least 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Damn it. I'm taking some personal time, and I'll walk out the door to go see what
Bye.
this is about. Yeah. I'll go, yeah.
The detective just nods and turns to Tabitha as she's walking in, and Vanderveer's walking out, and says, "I can trust you to cover the fill in the appropriate information that the agency, the precinct will need to know about Vanderveer's leave of personal absence. Is correct?"
I just look around. What?
What is going on? The gentleman just like nods and leaves you confused.
I take a look around. Who was witness to these things that can explain me what happened? And my eyes, of course, fall at Marco.
Who was that masked man?
What just happened here?
He got a call that made him think it was his daughter was
Oh,
under arrest or something, and this beat cop just kind of confirmed that no one was in that house, and that's when he walked out, and that's when you walked in. That's pretty much all I
and
got.
I have to file the stuff on this. Okay, and on his leaving. Now I got it. Thanks.
Yeah.
So you guys sit down to check the paperwork. I won't need you to roll for it. It's fairly cut and dry. The gentlemen in the office or in the cell were detained purely for illegal trespassing in today's Los Angeles without the appropriate permutation. They are being held because of the medical anomaly that they are experiencing, so that DLAPD can ensure that it is not contagious. But as far as they can tell, there is no evidence that it is contagious. And so they're just being held there. And the officer that is holding them is Groff Davern, somebody that James Cook is going to recognize the name of. And you all might actually recognize the name of the orc detective in Standard PD that has it out for James, because he is not subtle about him hating James.
You see, Tabs,
Oh.
it's Groth. He's an asshole, anyways, and they're just being held on, trespassing without the permit thing, which shouldn't even be a loss. So they're fine.
Yeah, but we don't want to have this guy. And I mean, we need to tread carefully with this guy, right?
Groff certainly likes to hold on and not let go.
Kind of like a crocodile.
Cat just
Okay.
grins like,
Wait a
I can be a pretty slippery character, so I'm not too worried.
wait. Am I hooking this situation?
Well,
Yes.
Well, actually, let's pretend you are not, and I think that's best solution here.
I can't listen. I can't talk to Groff. I think we ever had one conversation that's went down well. I don't know. It was just
Okay,
one
so-
internal affairs sort of thing. I'd just rather not. It's all copacetic. He stays where he stays, and I stay where I stay. That's
Okay, so this is not about you and him. This is legit police work, and I roll my eyes just by the fact I need to call a legit police work something that had to do with cat. We need them out on the street working for us to provide us some info. And actually, this ties to this investigating the mushrooms, because, well, it is about the mushrooms. So I think I can just talk to this guy.
Oh.
yeah. Have fun.
Did you guys want to take your, I believe it's about break time. We're going to afterwards address. Correct me if I'm wrong about the break time.
No, we're right at about an hour and a half, so that's
Okay,
perfect.
cool. We'll address Daniel and what he does next, and then getting those gentlemen out of the precinct.
Fabulous. Well, we will be back in about 10 minutes or so. So stretch your legs, grab some water or other beverage, snacks if you need it, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're back and heading into what most certainly is not a trap.
I didn't say anything about a trap.
No, I just inferred.
One day I would like to play hidden role games with you guys.
You're a bit quiet. Are
Yeah,
you
very
like turned
quiet.
away from your mic or something?
That was just me for a second.
You okay?
It's still pretty quiet. I'm not sure why. Cause like you haven't changed spots or anything. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it started like half an hour ago.
How about, is this all right?
That's better.
Okay,
Sure.
hold on. I'm gonna see if I need to adjust. How about, can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
cool.
much better.
I swapped
World
my
of
mics.
difference.
Swapped my
Ah.
mics.
You should not do
Awesome.
that.
Okay, cool. Audio fixed. Y'all are ready to go. Before we jump to Daniel and his next course of action, Tabitha, you sit down at your desk and you notice something that is not where it should be. Or that it shouldn't be there at all. And when you go to pick it up, you are finding a coin that has a black feather stenciled on both sides. One feather, however, seems to just be bare bones and spines, and the other feather is full. And you kind of get like a tingly sensation when you pick it up.
Huh. Interesting. I pick it up.
Sweet. I feel like there was something else that I had for somebody, but now I can't remember it. Oh well, it'll come up later. So Daniel, you leave the precinct, I assume. And where do you go
Yes.
from there?
As I walk to my car, I will take off the glasses, as I have done, loosen the tie, as I have done, because I'm now, he's sort of in a panic. Where are his ex-wife and stepdaughter? So he's got his phone. He's calling his ex-wife as he's heading to the car to drive over to their former home.
The phone doesn't even ring. It just immediately goes to voicemail.
Dang it! I'll try my daughter's phone.
The same.
Fuck. And then I'll speed with the sirens on because I'm, not
Blur
the
the
most
lines a
legal
little
cop
bit.
right now. Yeah,
And where do you go?
this is important. To the house where I last saw them, where I lived for years as part of the family.
The lights are off. The
I'm just glad you
garage
didn't
is
make me roll for like car driving because I would have crashed that puppy.
No, you're good. I'm going to assume that while reckless, you're still decent at driving a vehicle.
Yeah.
You arrive. The garage to the house is open. The garage is empty. It has been cleared out of anything that would have been in there originally.
I'll peek in there and then I'll head to the front door.
The door is locked.
I use my key because this is my house, y'all. And I never gave that key back because it's a lot of feelings.
I understand. You walk in and the house has not been completely stripped, but any personal effects have been removed. It looks almost like it's staged for retail.
Okay.
It's immaculate, though.
I'll stand there for a bit, just shocked at what I'm seeing. I'll do a quick look around, but nothing too intense, and then I head over to my daughter's room.
Your daughter's room had any artwork that might have been on the walls has been removed. It doesn't feel like it's been lived in. There's a light layer of dust. I'm going to have you roll investigation for me for further information.
Cool. I will do so. Investigate the mystery. Excellent.
So you get, I believe it's 3 questions, which you can ask now or hold. Would you like to ask your own questions or the questions from the books?
I'm not even gonna look at the books. Like maybe if I get stumped or something, but I'm just gonna like be in a panic, and I'll drop to the floor and I'll look under stuff. So, is there anything personal belonging to my daughter left in this room?
First pass, no. It seems that your daughter's identity has been completely removed from this room. But while you are searching under the bed and kind of moving things around, a piece of paper falls out that was tucked into the rungs of the bed between like the mattress and the bed frame.
Should my next question be, what does the piece of paper say?
No, you do not have to. You'll get to read that otherwise. You can ask a different
Okay.
question.
How
Or we
long
can
have
read
they
that
been
now.
gone exactly? I don't know if there's any way I can tell, but they said it looked like it had been lived in for 2 weeks, but that was just them guessing, and now I'm going to be smart about it.
The only way that you could really, really tell, because there is no food left in the house, there's no trash. The amount of dust in the room says that it may, in fact, be closer to a month that they haven't been there.
Okay, have I talked to them in this month?
If you have frequent communications with your ex-wife or daughter, yes.
No, well, not frequent, but like every now and again.
You
Like,
probably
once a
got,
week or once every 2 weeks, something like that.
you probably about 2 weeks previously had a very amicable conversation with your daughter where nothing seemed to be amiss.
Okay. This is weird. Okay. I will use magic because I can do that.
Yeah.
To sort of like dispel any illusions that might be here, because I feel like this doesn't line up with reality, or the call was fake, and I'm hoping it's the house right now. So I'm gonna like do a spell and see the truth.
And roll plus weird for that.
Use magic.
Nice.
Y'all, I'm super good at magic. I should be doing this more often.
I'm inclined to agree. So your spell, because of how high you got, doesn't necessarily change the house. And you can tell that after, like with casting that, the house isn't necessarily an illusion, but the spell brings something else to the forefront. And you see ghostly, without audio, images moving through the house. You don't recognize, actually, I will have to have you roll to recognize any of these people that are going through, and you can see them going through the motions of packing the personal effects and belongings into boxes. You briefly see a ghostly image of your wife, arms crossed, looking really concerned, like running her hands through her hair, like nervously rubbing on her clothing. You see
at the same time as these people are moving boxes. Okay.
Exactly. You see a brief image of your daughter kind of run up and hug her legs, and then
She's a bit taller than that.
Okay. Around her waist.
She's an early teen, so.
Oh, I gotcha. My bad. Hugs her around her waist, and as she disconnects and runs off, the rest of the ghostly images all fade.
Okay. So I at least know that my wife was cool with moving, or at least not like, this is awful. Where is everybody stealing my stuff? You know, so that's something. That's at least good. So I have one question left. I'm gonna stop the playback of the ghostly figures and see if I can't focus in on one of the guys and get more details about him. Either through magical enhancement. Enhance.
And you're using your last question on that gentleman.
Yeah, who
correct?
is this guy?
You don't know him specifically, but something about his personage stands out to you. You've had very, very light experiences with people that have a very similar set of tattoos on their arms. And you recognize this gentleman. And at first you thought it might be having to do with the arms dealer that you busted. But the more you investigate the tattoos, the more it appears that maybe it was a dissenter and that they are now part of what you know as the Vectra. And
Okay.
they are one of the 4 primary gangs in the underside.
So, wait, my guess is that this man used to be Aswang and is now Vector?
Which is unheard of, to be perfectly
that's
honest.
people don't just swap gangs like they do hats, you know. You betray a gang, that's a bullet.
Yeah, or worse.
That's weird. Okay. All right, I'll read the note now.
The note opens up and it says, Daddy, I hope it's you that finds this. Mom won't tell me what's going on. There's something dark here. We're going to the underside.
Okay. I didn't see anything dark in my, super revealy everything vision.
Nope.
So whatever it is, it's not here, which means it's with them, and that's not good. And I know that they're in the underside, and my assumption is that they're with the Vectra, so that's a lot of information. I'll pocket the note and drive back to the station.
Cool. The rest of you all are cracking down on any further information. Was there anything else that you were working on in records or research?
Not that I can think of, for me anyways.
Yeah. And with how it all ties to the mushrooms, that will be more of a courtesy talk with the guy, because actually we're in the right, I think.
Okay, so you go to Groff to let him know you're releasing his prisoners?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay. So Groff is sitting at his desk. James, do you want to tell us what Groff looks like?
James is not there.
I know,
Yeah,
but he knows him the best.
Sorry, I just want to point that out, make that clear. So Groff is a bit of an older orc. I don't know how to, like when he When he gets a bit older, he'll be a silver fox sort of look. But right now, he's still young enough to not have the gray hairs coming in. He almost looks like your classic orc with like scars on the face and like just massive, huge built guy. And he doesn't look happy. He never looks happy.
Okay. So this hulking man is hunched over his desk, typing on a modified keyboard to fit his hands, because we are a equal race opportunist and don't create disabilities with our technology for as long as you look human enough. And he looks up as you approach, and he only looks at Tabitha.
I think I went alone.
Okay, cool. So he's like, oh, hello, and sticks his hand out for you to shake. Sergeant Urquhart, what do I owe the pleasure?
This guy is detective, sergeant.
He is a, what would he be, James? How far up in the roster is he?
On the sheet for the crooked.
I think we have as sergeant is what I've got in my notes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he could be that because it just says a police detective.
Okay.
Has made it a personal has made it a personal goal to put you away. So he can be a police detective and higher, I suppose.
Okay, so we'll have him be sergeant detective. But he doesn't have his own office yet. He just works with the other grunts.
James enjoys that very much.
Yeah, it's sort of courtesy visit because we need to take care about 3 of your patients.
I assume you mean the gentlemen that were so kindly left donuts about an hour and a half ago?
Yeah, they
I
will be
see.
working. They will be working for us. You see, when there's shit happening up there, it flows where? Downhill, and we're the downhill.
All right.
Some issues with the mushrooms happened up there, and our department has been called in, and we need to press things forwards. We've convinced these gentlemen to work with us.
He kind of, like, his brows knit together, and he kind of rolls his eyes, and he says, that's fine. Sergeant Tabitha, your department outranks mine. And he does that thing where, like, you can pretty much hear him grinding his teeth, and he kind of, like, tilts and looks past you and tilts back and looks back at you. And he says, the detective cook is in your department, correct?
Yes,
I believe I
but
had
this
heard
has
about
nothing to do with him.
I see. Well, I wanted to let you know that you should be keeping an eye on him. He must be under a different name or a different place, but he is not who he says he is. And I just want to keep you and your department safe by letting you know.
I assure you, I keep eye on all things.
Is that all, Sergeant Urquhart?
Yeah, but thanks for making it easy and proper.
It is not my place to get in the way of smooth-moving cogs, he says, which seems a strange way to put that. But he dismisses himself from the conversation. He swivels around on his little chair and goes back to typing. No courtesy.
Yeah. Have a good afternoon, and I leave.
All right. So everything is all set in place for you to release your prisoners.
Well, if they ate the donuts, we can always keep them a little longer to get them more hungry.
Would you like to check the surveillance feeds for that?
Of course.
You can see that some of the donuts are gone and some of them are not. One has a bite in it and has been set to the side. If you go back and watch the footage to see who has eaten it, the quieter, skittish man has eaten them, and Cassidy has eaten them. You think, like, Johnson kind of picked one up and looked at it and put it back down. Is it going to be a war of attrition?
We could let them get a little bit more hungry.
All right.
Okay, so I'm returning to the department.
So
yeah, things have been cleared with your friend. The quotation marks are easily audible. And I've checked the footage. They can work on their hunger a bit longer. So how it will work, Cat? You will know, see.
What was the first part of that? Sorry.
How will the spell work?
Oh, right. I presume Cat would have like some sort of like makeshift compass or something like that that points the direction that they are, or something like that, or maybe a map where it shows a dot for them and the dot moves on the map. Something like that. Would that be acceptable?
Yep.
Yeah, the map would be better because there's 3 of them, and the compass could get crazy with that if they separate.
I like the map. You could do full Constantine style and do it with a drop of blood.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, Cat will pull that out and just like, yeah, do.
So
like
you
get
see,
some blood on there.
Your tracking spell follows 2 of the 3 people, who have not been released yet, mind you. So you know that 2 people have that on them, but the other has not. Do you starve him out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say till 10 p.m. 10 p.m. So it's not like 10 minutes to midnight. So I don't want things to be so hard on the nose here. Let's say 10 p.m. and
the gentleman does not last too long. Coming on hour 2, since you have set up the map, he gives in. He's like, fine, and eats the donut. So you now have 3 points in which you can track. This is about the time that Daniel returns to the office.
Okay. I'll slowly walk over to my desk. I'll nod to everyone.
oh, so Tabitha cares about Daniel actually. So she asks, "How did it go?"
Not well. They were gone. I hadn't been there in weeks. I used some magic, and I think they went into hiding with the gangs trying to escape some sort of darkness.
Wait, what? Gangs?
Mm-hmm. I have no idea where they are, Tabitha. I don't know where my wife is. I don't know where my daughter is. I don't know anything. They could be dead already.
Wait. Let's not go down this path. Do you have any information why they left? Why they went into hiding? Is something particular?
I'll give Tabitha the note.
I've heard what the notes say as a player.
Mhm.
Wait,
Darkness.
actually, that might not be a bad thing, Daniel.
Can you say that?
Uh, hey, Marco,
Yeah, what's up?
you told us about the things you've seen, right?
Yes.
It seems like a, well, once a decade occurrence. There's really a lot of stuff going on in the town, Daniel. And this
Think it's this
sounds like
boogeyman? You're telling
the
me that's the
mushroom.
thing that turned a woman and her daughter, or son, I forget, into like a wall-to-wall carpeting of gore is after my daughter? Is that what
No.
you're telling me? That's supposed to reassure me?
Cat's gonna chime in and go, well, it means they're not red paint.
I'll
Shush.
walk over and be this close to punching Cat in the face. And then I'll be like,
I mean,
can
I'm
you
just
do
saying
anything
silver
useful here,
lining."
Cat? I want to find my family. Is that something you can do?
Cat just cracks her knuckles and goes, well, today seems to be the day for locator spells, so I could try.
Okay.
Do you have any personal effects from either of
No.
them?
I can't hear the note. It was written by his daughter.
I don't know if that's going to be enough.
It's not the best. Not quite sure if this will succeed or not, but I'll give it a shot. Do you have a picture
what I
of
wanted-
this?
Yes. I'll
What I
open my
wanted to
wallet.
say is they've considered the situation and they went into some sort of protective hiding. You can't tell me it's the worst news.
You're right. I guess having a gang between you and a boogeyman is something.
And the world is a bit upside down these days. Hydra boss hiding under our protection. So I guess
Is
if
it
your daughter
usual
hides
for
under
your
gang
family?
protection, some things are in balance.
Is it
Sometimes
usual?
things work weird with magic.
What was
Marco
that,
wants to
Marco?
ask is it usual for your wife and daughter to be, I guess, in contact with a gang? Like, why would they go
No.
to a gang for protection?
They didn't. She was my wife. I mean, before I got into the picture, she was dealing with some shady people. Maybe she had some contacts left over from that time. Maybe my little girl's actual dad's back. I'll have to call him, see. Good, Marco. That's good. Thank you. And
Right.
I'll hand Kat the picture, and I'll go to my desk and I'll look up what's happened with Rico Cortez.
So yeah, Kat's gonna say, "Oh no, I meant a picture of the note because the notes. You won't have the note when I'm done. So do
Oh,
have
I'll snap a picture of the note.
okay, perfect. Lovely family, by the way. And she'll hand the picture back. Sure, they're
They really are.
delightful. So Kat's of course gonna do something weird, and pull out a vial of something that's syrupy looking and dark colored, and like sprinkle it on the note in a weird pattern, and then crumple up the note and eat it. And then grab somebody's tablet, pull up like Google Maps, and do the blood thing again. And we'll see if it works.
Go ahead and roll for it.
Mixed success.
You may choose your glitch.
Indigestion.
uh,
Accidentally has mushrooms on it.
That would not be good.
I think I will do the you take 1 harm, ignore armor, as indigestion.
Oh, okay. It's bad though. Like almost immediately, your stomach is doing that terrible gurgling noise. You feel like a little queasy, and so all you guys see is like she kind of tilts back and forth in a swaying fashion until she can get her her hand on something to stabilize herself.
Might
And
be like
then
a nice gurgling noise, huh?
gurgle,
That's what I
gurgle,
get.
gurgle from her stomach.
Mhm.
You know, the kind you can hear from across the office.
Yep.
And
You all right, Cat?
And she's like just put a thumbs up while trying not to vomit.
Close enough. I'll return to focusing on my computer.
and you do it with the drop of blood on the map, correct?
Yeah.
So the drop of blood races across the map to the bay, which would essentially be what used to be Long Beach. This is a notable area of imports and exports, and there are an absurd amount of bridgeways that kind of cover this area, but she doesn't seem to be following any of these bridgeways. And then the drop of blood acts very interestingly. Once it reaches that area, it slowly circles several blocks. And as it passes through one of the bridges, the drop of blood lifts off the map and disappears.
Huh. Well, that's a new one. But
Well,
you've got a location, so
yeah, where?
It would be, I think, around, I can't remember the cities in Long Beach anymore, or the streets in Long Beach. Let's say it is, we'll call it Fisherman's Wharf is the street name, and the area that she vanished in.
That's where my daughter is, Fisherman's Wharf.
seems to be.
Thanks, Cat.
Don't mention
I'll-
it. Maybe get any tums and assets.
No.
I've got Pepto Bismol. I sometimes
Perfect.
eat things that don't agree with me. Here, I'll toss it to her.
She just grabs it, opens up the cap, and like shotguns the bottle.
Tabitha snorts. Don't you see, well, no means no. Didn't you hear that, Marco?
Why though?
Yep.
There's like this drug addict who's arrested, like sitting there and like, that woman's a mad one. Crazy.
James, you'll need to speak up.
Hmm?
Say that again, but a little bit louder.
Oh, he just said why though.
Oh.
Why?
Makes perfect
in
sense.
which regards? The Pepto? Or whatever it was? Okay.
Yeah, why the shotgun?
Why'd you have to finish it all? You're gonna be constipated. Sorry. Disregard me.
she she just looks at everybody. Is like, have you ever consumed green imp blood?
No.
Can't say that I have.
Well then, if you had, you would know why I just downed this whole thing. Thank you, Marco. I will get
No
you another
problem.
bottle.
I appreciate that.
And she just kind of sort of like staggers off, like with one hand on her stomach, until she finds her chair.
Hey,
Truly a
James,
mystery.
can I have you roll a sharp check for me?
Just pure sharp, or well, I don't have
Pure
anything
sharp.
anyway. 10.
Nice.
James, you know that this area where we saw Daniel's daughter's tracker, Angelica's tracker shifting around on the map, you recognize this area. In fact, you used to visit it often.
Fun.
Big fisherman, huh?
Fun. Do I know anyone I can contact in that area?
You do. You know a gentleman's name, words, goodness, a gentleman's name, Magweed, that you know well enough, that works down in that area.
Fantastic. Also, I've just realized that I sent my imp off last session.
Ooh, that's right. Would you like to call your imp back?
Yes, I would.
So with a flick of your wrist, there's a small crackle pop noise, and your imp literally falls out of nowhere, hits your table, sits up and brushes itself off, folds its arms, and glares at you.
Yeah. Sorry. Slipped my mind.
And the imp puts its hands on its hips and kind of gives you that same glare as it talks, and it says, well, your friends didn't do very much. I mean, they did plenty. And it kind of wiggles its, what should be its eyebrows at you in an insinuating way. But he continues, he says, I mean, one of the guys just bought an apartment.
Oh.
They're real normal. I don't know why you got me tracking them when there are plenty of cooler people to track.
Happened to get an address.
Yeah, and he picks up a pen that's like almost the length of his arm and writes it on a piece of paper for you.
Thank you.
And the imp looks at you and he says, either you put me back in that stone or you let me go back, because they were getting it on and I want to see how it finishes.
All right. Back in the stone. Pull it out of my pocket. This, I don't know, probably gray rock with just an imp carved into it. All right, back in you go.
The imp corkscrews back out of existence and into the rock.
Weird one, that one. Okay. How to make a call. I say to the rest of my fellow officers team.
All right.
You have our permission.
And
Just this once.
Whatever you say. I was just, just making sure you know where I
That was a
went.
good character.
So I just step out to call Magweed.
There is a brief silence after the phone is answered. You hear the sounds of machine and factory, like ambient noises in the background, and then you hear an old friend's voice, and he says, "Oh boy, look who's come back down to town. What is it that you want? Why are you calling me? Yes, sly dog."
Fantastic. Yeah. Listen, Magweed, there been any new movements down there with... do I know the name of the guy Daniel was searching up earlier, or did you?
Rico Cortez.
I don't know if he shared that, though.
I don't know if you shared that either.
I'll set it out loud, I think.
Okay.
Okay. Any new movements with Rico Cortez down there?
You mean the Aswing guy, right? No, I don't fuck with the Aswings, man. I mean, I guess rumor says that he might have gotten out of prison a little bit early. Nobody knows why. But words on the street is he's back down here. I haven't seen him though. Why you asking?
Business, official police business.
You got that shiny badge? You didn't tell me you were gonna celebrate and you left me out. I'm so bummed, man.
Magweed, you're a strange one. You realize if I run into you, I have to take you in.
He doesn't say anything, but you can hear an audible shrug. This guy doesn't really give a fuck. He says, but you said movements, right? There's been a lot of weird shit going on down here. There's a lot of folks scared. Is the police department doing anything about that?
Well, a few things. In fact, I think I might be seeing you soon.
Oh, there's one of those times I should get out of town? But you just said you were going to arrest me.
It is as the law commands. Relocation might be a good thing for you.
All right, bud. Well, if that's it, I got a shipment I need to finish.
Keep an eye out. Let me, call me if you see anything. Anyone new moving down there, around there?
Yeah, couple of relocated families from Topside came down.
Relocated.
You know them. They move into one spot, and the next week they're in another. Looking for somebody?
I will attempt to, I guess, describe Daniel's daughter.
Okay. Do you want to roll a cool roll for me?
Sure.
I think is what we'll use for this one.
Because my daughter's cool.
Ooh,
Hey,
nice.
10.
And so is James.
Big rolls.
Yeah. You're doing pretty good about it. And as Magweed's listening to this, he goes really quiet. He says, "Yeah, man, I seen her. They just they've been on the wharf for a week, I think. Yeah. You need anything else?"
Where on the wharf?
You know that place we used to get drinks?
Shit.
Second story. That building, apartment, somewhere in there.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Magweed.
Hey, man, just fair warning, don't go sticking your nose in things you don't get. Just because it's sometimes safer down here than it is in your pretty little idyllic heaven up there. Doesn't mean it's just a facade, man. Don't get fucked up.
Literally half my job is getting
And
fucked up. The other half is sticking my nose where it doesn't belong.
just leaving a warning, friend to friend.
Magweed, you're I was gonna say you're a good man, but not completely true.
You know that good and bad is relative. And he just cackles and he hangs up the phone mid laugh. He's like, hangs up.
Nice.
I never truly understood that guy. I poked my head back in the office. All right, I know where they are. Daniel,
Really? How?
I got my ways.
Ooh. Well, I'm reading here that Rico's out of jail for some reason. I'm assuming I can find that because he is.
Yes.
apparently.
What you found on Rico getting out of jail is that he made parole and had managed to post bail despite the absolutely exorbitant amount of money it took to get him out.
Bail? But he's already sentenced. How does
That's
that
right.
work?
Sorry. I got wires crossed. He's sentenced, but his sentence was shortened. There's not much more information other than a lot of money was exchanged for the shortening of his sentence, but he's out on parole. Which is
That sounds super illegal, but okay.
Yeah. Everything
Is there
shady
a
about
contact
it.
information for the
No,
guy?
everything on the record that you pulled up has been blacked out.
Okay,
So-
so there's no parole officer, there's no nothing.
Nothing.
Is he out on the good behavior of giving a lot of money to the police?
Good behavior, right?
I'm not
I'm
going
a
to
good
say
person
anything.
because I'm rich. You can believe me because I'm giving you the money.
Right.
That's how that works.
Money makes me a good person. I mean, according to Magweed, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right.
But I list off the well, I talk about the wharf. Tell them they're in the apartment upstairs on
Ooh,
the second floor.
that is very
where it is.
detailed.
Yeah, I think we need the whole team. Bad
Mhm.
area. It's
And
yeah,
there's
we're
a
in
monster after them, maybe. So I would appreciate everybody's help, especially you, Marco.
Well, I didn't say the monster is after them. I think something's bad going in the town here. I didn't
If there's even the
imply.
slightest chance that there's a dangerous monster after my little girl, I'm bringing everything I've got. Well, that's all of you.
Yeah, sure, man. But like I said, I've spent some years here, and sometimes, and I drop my voice. Things aren't the way they seem to be. Up is down, down is up. They really might be in the safe place now. Because they are hiding, right?
You think we'll
Ask
just
James.
bring more danger to them by going to them? Should I go alone? Should James just go?
No, but you should go not in the official. Well, you can go, but not. Let's not make it an official business.
So we should go undercover in, plain clothes?
easy.
Can you tell us anything about the area, James?
Sure. This area is
It is Vectra controlled territory. Like I said, it's a lot of import and export There's several factories, huge abandoned buildings, and it's kind of like the workers' gruff, the place that collects the hardworking man that can't work hard enough to get topside, but is too industrious to let themselves go. There is a really interesting mix of technology and the lack of technology in this area. Think like really gritty cyberpunk, like hardcore 1980s cyberpunk. But there's also, it's not usually a place of high crime, like high violent crime. It is a place of excessive drug use, prostitution, intellectual crimes, hacking, all of that kind of stuff. Industrious crime, you could say. It's not safe by any standard, but it's also not the worst place in lower Los Angeles.
And I found my words in the meantime. I just wanted to say, man seeking his family might receive a lot warmer welcome in the non-ironical sense than cops' entire department trying to do a shakedown of the joint there.
All right, that makes sense. Plain clothes. I would appreciate some backup, though.
Oh yeah,
So-
man with friends, most certainly.
So there is one thing that I want to add that you need to know for going below the surface, essentially, is that there is you sort of have to go through something like customs to get to the lower part. The primary hub for doing so is Town Central, which is a 5-minute walk from the police station that you are residing at. There are a few other places that you can go to, but they're not probably as official as they should be.
I'm assuming we can come and go as he please, right? As the police.
Yeah. You just have to essentially flash your badges and tap your card, and they let you go. You can sans the lines. But that it does take you a little bit of time to get from topside to underside. Because forms. Paperwork!
Excellent.
All right.
Well, let's change into plain clothes.
Before we do that, can we check on where those 3 miscreants that we released went on the map?
I think I've arranged for them to be let out in the later evening, so I think they are still on the premise, right?
Yeah. And it is arranged, because they still don't have their permutation, it is arranged that they are to be let go in the underside. So they will be escorted back below the surface of Deus and let go there.
Any reason we're not going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone? Make it seem like we're taking them down there for official business and then taking a branch off?
You could do that.
Smart.
It seems like a best plan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's make it happen.
Cool.
Making it happen.
Pushing
So-
the buttons.
Groff is there to oversee the expulsion, or not the expulsion, but the letting go of your servants. Not servants, goodness. My brain just turned off.
Well, I mean,
Close enough.
Of
Close
your
enough.
prisoners.
No, this is a GM slip. That's what they are. They're something servants.
Something, servants.
yeah, they're serving cats' purposes, so therefore.
Yeah, they're servants, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys, Groff is there to oversee it, and as James walks up, I'm sure, flanked by the rest of his team. Groff tries to do that whole like machismo thing where he walks through your group to shoulder check you. And he is a significantly bigger man, and under any other circumstances, he could probably floor you. And this is very, very much as passively direct as he can get in showing that he hates your guts. Does anybody else want to respond with it to that?
Okay.
Does Cat have?
I'll just push him out of the way. I'll be like, "Hey, we're walking here."
Walk in here.
Does Cat have any relation to this guy at all? Like, has she had any interaction with him? She just sees him like
Making a
being a
beeline
dick?
for Cook. And Daniel trying to be like, hey, buddy, get out of the way.
Can I discreetly like just do a wrist flick to make his shoelaces suddenly be tied together?
You have to roll for it.
Oh my
Of
god.
course.
While you're rolling for it, Groff does stop,
Yes.
Daniel, when you reach up to be like, hey, we're walking here, you're in the way or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives you the up and down look, and as he settles on your face, he kind of leans in and he says, you know what the other detectives are saying about you? And
Nobody's talking about you. And I'll push him out of the way.
He says in a sneering way, calling after you as he kind of like backpedals out of the way. He says, they said you knocked a screw loose, bud, and that's why you're working with the spooks. What'd you roll for those shoelaces?
10.
Very effective. As he's backpedaling, his shoelaces are suddenly tied, and he trips, just spilling on the floor into curse words and like red-faced fury.
And Kat, as she passes by him, is just gonna look down at him, like, and by that I mean both literally and figuratively, looking down at him and go, "Who are you again?" And just keep walking.
Play nice, kid. Play nice. I should my department onto the business.
So
James,
you
if
guys,
that guy is your enemy, I guess I'm your friend. He's a complete asshole.
yes,
Clearly
he
doesn't
is.
know how to tie his shoelaces correctly.
James did not say anything. He's probably had it happen so many times that he's just like, I'm not impressed by this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So your prisoners are discharged to you. All the paperwork is handled. All you have to do is sign for them. And you guys are able to walk with your prisoners across the street to Town Center, where you are given a pass to walk ahead of the lines to get through essentially customs and head down. You enter one of 5 very large elevators. I would like to say your 3 prisoners are very hobgoblin-like. You can definitely tell how they were able to pass and make it work. And topside, with knobbly little facial features and twisted backs and long hands that you assume use for tinkering or making illegal drugs. You don't know for sure. So you enter this elevator, and the top part of or this massive elevator that's meant to house up to 30 individuals can stand in this. And the framework that holds the elevator is very ornate and very pretty. You can tell that a lot of money and time has been put into creating this. The elevator doors ding, you are the only people that are in this particular elevator. You tell the status at which you are able to operate in your heavenly city, as it was called by James's contact earlier. And then the elevator begins to descend. And you go through probably 40 feet worth of concrete. and then another 40 feet worth of struts and metal skeletons holding dais up above old Los Angeles. And once you're past the struts, the ballistic glass that surrounds the elevator gives you a view into the underside of old Los Angeles. And it is dark here. You can tell the fading light of the sun is only touching the very sides of the city. You can only imagine how dark it could be during day at this time. And the city itself is lit by a complex network of neon colored highways. And several not trees, several buildings are sprouting out between these highways, and it appears that the city is built in particular layers, all stacked up on each other. And it gives you the impression of claustrophobia. The lower you get, the more you notice that the elevator structure has not been maintained. That beautiful gold filigree and fine artisan metalwork that you saw upon first entering has devolved into hard, rusted, stained metal that is being eaten up in certain places. Grime is caked on everything. And you finally get to the bottom level where the city is now towering above you. The air is damp, but it doesn't feel like it's a water damp. It feels like it is just, you're bathing in the dirt of the city. Concrete is broken up. The streets are in absolute disrepair. You can tell that the original streets are no longer in use, and that these neon highways are what is usually the primary transportation of these. And down below, there is a man waiting for you with something that looks kind of like your squad cars, but a little bit different. The wheels are not meant to be driven on the road. They've been shifted a little bit in a mechanical manner, allows your patrol car to hover a little bit, giving you an entirely different feeling than the top side that you usually reside in. The man sees Sergeant Tabitha, gives a nod, and tosses the keys to you, and without another word, walks away into the weird, dark, neon-lit streets that is old Los Angeles.
Here we see the world as it truly is.
That film peeled back.
Shame.
Yep.
So, Raven, I'm not very good at remembering how long our sessions are supposed to go. If we have more time, we can keep going. Otherwise, I think that's
This is
a
a
pretty good,
perfect time.
stopping spot.
Yeah.
We're at 2 hours 47 minutes, and it's between 2 and 3 hours, so that's
Oh, perfect. Right on the dot then, because my
So-
brain is like, oh, it's like 4 hours.
So I
Sorry.
would like to just ask a little question.
Yeah.
So the car can fit all us in, because that's squad
Yes.
car, and that's sounds like 4-person vehicle, and we are like 8 now.
It was intended for you to be able to drop your people off here. And then you would take your squad car, but you could
okay.
pack them all into the car like a clown car if you
No.
wanted.
No,
That's what
no,
the trunk is for.
no.
Time to the top.
Yeah, we can let
Goblins, they're
them.
not too big.
Get out of here. Get
Well-
out of here.
Yeah, we want to know where they go, not drive us there themselves. Like,
Yes.
So, yeah. You're free, boot.
So you let them go, and you are now about to get into the squad car to go and investigate where Daniel Vanderveer's wife and daughter might be.
I'm excited for next week.
Me too. This is gonna be a thing. You know, we're
Yeah.
in plain clothes. We're not gonna be waving badges around. Good stuff.
Cool.
Oh, last minute donation. Thank you so much, Michael, for the $3 donation. On the keys given, Even then, there's a keychain of a raven. Oh, that's cool. So
Nice.
for
Mm.
one plot point, the keychain has a raven on it. Maybe that'll be significant to the
Maybe it
story.
will be.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Well, let's go on a raid here pretty soon. But before we do, outros. So we'll do a reverse order. I guess I can start. So my favorite part. Oh, so many good spots in this one. Um, that whole exchange with Groff was actually pretty darn cool. That was a lot of fun because everybody seemed to be like, "Oh, this person's messing with one of us, so we're gonna like suddenly bond all of a sudden." That was pretty cool. Um, and yeah, so I think that was my favorite part. Where you can find me next, I'll be producing school days here at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, so in about 3 hours. Um, Head back here for school days. It's a masks campaign, so it's a bunch of high school students who are also superheroes. Um, it's a really cool cast and a really cool story. I really enjoyed Session Zero last week, so definitely head back and check that out. And then at 6 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time tomorrow, which is Saturday, I'll be GMing Animus Absentus, which is it's been getting really good since the season finale last season, where we got all the drama of finding out that Daisy was the one that wiped everybody's memories, and um, they're very upset with her now. So that's where you can find me. And then as for other things to share, um, conveniently, the timer on the messages just brought up the sponsors in chat. So there you go. There's our sponsors: Fundamental RPG and Grinding Coffee Company. And then just really quickly gonna not really announce, but mention again Patreon. There's a lot of cool stuff happening with Patreon right now, from soundtracks that you can download, new art. Um, I have a lot more time for other projects this season, so a lot of that is going into Patreon. So it's a great time to subscribe to that, and it helps me out a ton. So yeah, that's it for me, and I'll pass it down to Paladin. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite part was the way I talked to Marco. That interaction for me was really good. I really appreciated the way you were very sensitive with Daniel. It was some quality role playing. I thought it was fun. Yeah. As for where you can find me next, every other Sunday I appear on Uncanny Adventures, where I play Holt, the pirate paladin who tries to make friends with all the evil pirates. Just had a session last Sunday, and turns out that the new captain who it has made me quartermaster, and I'm really bad at that job, and I'm probably not going to keep it for like more than one session. So let's find out how fast I get fired. Yeah, I just found out I got. I am going to start a new campaign over on the Stalwart Initiative soon. I have no idea what's going to happen, but it's coming. It's coming. And I have a one shot in about 4 hours, but that's not going to be streamed, so I don't know what I'm telling you.
It's for street cred, of course.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much. And
That's
then,
me.
awesome. The next we've got Par. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite part is a tie between Groff being at his at his desk, big man, little desk. It's just I love that eternally. And the conversation with Magweed, I don't know what I was expecting, but I ended up loving it. You can find me next in 3 hours here for school days, where I play a young fledgling hero with many problems. Many problems that may or may not be solved by the end. And you can also find me on Twitter at LTALIG.
Fantastic. And then we'll toss it on over to Nate. Same questions. Favorite part, where can we find you, and anything else you'd like to share?
I'm enjoying kind of the freeform magic of this game system. It's a lot of fun to hear how you guys are spinning, trying to cast spells and do all sorts of cool, crazy stuff, and that's real cool to me. As far as where you can find me next, I'll be here next week, same time. That's pretty much it.
Yay!
I look forward to that.
Yeah. And then next we've got Econorlax. Favorite part, where can we find you, and anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite parts were all interactions with, let's call them James NPCs. The characters you introduced to the game, both growth and your talk with your, well, old friend.
Yeah, that was really good.
You can find me next for sure on Thursday, 11 in the morning Mountain Time on Alan J's channel, where we'll be playing Don't Starve Together, and maybe a bit somewhere in the week earlier, but that's like I said, Thursday for sure, earlier maybe someone, I don't know yet.
Awesome.
So that's all. And maybe that might be my Twitch also.
Awesome. Very cool.
Ooh.
And then, far from least, our wonderful, fantastic GM, Yasmin. What was your favorite part? Where can we find you next? And anything else you'd like to share?
My favorite part is the fact that you guys just go. Like, it could be like the little details. Like, I made the mistake of like creating an outline for this, and we're already like out in left field. I mean, I didn't expect anything different. However, I'm just enjoying it so much.
Feel free to nudge us if you ever want us to
Of
do
course.
a thing.
Yeah, no. I know I'm very good at railroading when I have to. But I'd rather watch you guys organically grow this story, and those really sweet role play moments are life for me. So I'm glad you all appreciate them too. You can find me next week on Wednesday playing Bambi Darling in Exodus on Raven's channel. And you can find me on Twitter at YTatianaArt or at my website, studio-tart.com, where I offer several D&D or tabletop inspired clothing, design wear, stickers, stuff like that. Check it out. I'll put it in the chat box.
Fantastic. Yeah, and with that, we're gonna go on a raid. So I just went ahead and chose a raid cry because I thought it was funny. Of, have you ever drank green ant blood? Bad indigestion. So feel free to copy that out of chat, and we're gonna go raid Tabletop Horde or Virginia. Absolutely fantastic person, and very fun streamer to watch. She's also a really good GM, though at the moment she's kicking some butt in Rainbow Six Siege, it looks like. But definitely say hello, give her a follow if you're not doing so already, and we'll throw in some raid cries there as well. And then yeah, I will see you all back here in about 3 hours. Bye, everybody.